Well, hello there. So, welcome to tonight's stream, where we're going to do some further discussions about the pitfalls of the prosperity gospel. Uh-oh, YouTube is not liking my stream. What is going on? Well, it's telling me that I've got too much going on there, so let's find out here for a second. I mean, do we really need to have the background music? It'd be nice, but maybe I'll go ahead and stop it for now. Either that or I've just got too much open on my computer. Why? Because I'm not prosperous enough, I guess. Also go ahead and cut out some of these extra tabs going on. So if there's anybody in there, go ahead, in the chat, which boy, I'm getting a lot. What is going on? Wow, looks like Google Chrome is chewing up a lot of my resources. Since I'm not using that, let's go ahead and kill that. Oop. Well, that improved it a little bit, but not a whole lot. So let's go ahead and run with this and see where it goes. So let's go ahead and open tonight with a reading from the devotional. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he is called. And let's see, 1 Corinthians 7, verse 20. Some people have the foolish notion that the only way in which they can live for God is by becoming ministers, missionaries, or Bible women. Alas, how many would be shut out of any opportunity of magnifying the Most High if this were the case? Beloved, it is not office, it is earnest. It is not position, it is grace for which enables us to glorify God. You know, that is something that I agree with. You don't get in by your works. But you don't get in either by just sitting there and thinking about them and meditating on them. You have to live by his teachings as well. Because by doing that, you show everybody else that you have learned his ways, including him. Now, it said 1 Corinthians 7:20. So let's go to and lo and behold, it is part of this story here, live as you are called. Let's go ahead and copy this real quick. So let's go ahead and read the whole passage, not just the one little verse. So you guys are going to learn, I don't like to call out just one little verse, because you can rewrite a whole story to go to or from you based upon one sentence, if it's taken out of context. So, live as you are called. Starts at 1 Corinthians 7:17. Nevertheless, everyone should live the life that the Lord gave him and to which God called him. This is my rule in all the churches. Was everyone circumcised when he was called? He should not try to change that. What was everyone uncircumcised when he was called? He should not get circumcised. Interesting, considering what we read last time about that. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but obeying God's commandments is everything. Everyone should stay in the same condition in which he was called. Were you a slave when you were called? Do not let that bother you. Of course, if you have a chance to become free, take advantage of the opportunity. For the slave who has been called to belong to the Lord is the Lord's free person. In the same way, the free person who has been called in the Messiah's is the Messiah's slave. You are bought for a price. Stop becoming slaves of people. Brothers, everyone should stay in the same condition in which he was called by God. Now let me take care of something here. I want to save this one. Excuse me. So, what this is saying is don't let the fact that you're not some big powerful person affect your ability to worship Elohim. So, back to tonight's. So, as I touched on last time, prosperity is not here on earth. But what I want you to see is that the prosperity that is taught of being here on earth this right here. Which, for some reason, always seems to... There we go. All of this. Yes, they teach you about prosperity. But you'll find that these are prosperity that is not here on earth. Or if it is here on earth, it is not gold and silver to spend on stuff. Not on clothing, not on cars, not on fancy houses. It's prosperity in the way of saying that you're going to have children, you'll be able to raise those children, you'll be able to live and glorify Elohim. Not by a Maserati, not by 1,000 shares of SpaceX, not be a movie producer. Although lately, that's not necessarily a good thing to be anyways, it sounds like. Prosperity is not owning 3 private jets, or even 1. By what most of these scriptures I have read, prosperity is having cattle, which yes, you can sell that, or you can give it away, but that is considered prosperous because you have a job as a farmer or a herdsman, cattleman. And in such, you have everything you need. Sorry folks, I am still having some issues with the stream here, but they are improving. Things will get better as I am more practiced in this. But let's go ahead and start off again with how do I want to say this? The prosperity gospel is basically dangling things in front of you, if anything, to entice you. And when it's, if anything, it's trying to entice you into sin, because it makes you covet and it makes you lust after money for lack of anything else. It makes you want what this fancy preacher is dangling about in front of you. Oh, I've got 3 private jets. I am driving around in this, that, and everything else, limousine and such. Well, that's just not right. Minnie? Okay. Just a minute, I gotta check on. I'm hearing somebody whimpering a little bit. I guess everybody's okay. So let's go ahead and dive into this. The enticement of sinners. This is Proverbs. Proverbs 1, verse 8 through 19. My son, listen to your father's instructions and do not let go of your mother's teaching. They will be a grateful wreath for your head and a chain for your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let's lie in wait for blood, let's ambush some innocent person for no reason at all, let's swallow them alive like Sheol, like whole, and like those who go down into the pit. We'll find all kinds of valuable wealth, and we'll fill our houses with spoil. Throw your lot in with us, and all of us will have one purse. My son, do not go along with them, and keep your feet away from their paths, for they run towards evil. These enticers shed blood without hesitation. Look, it is useless to spread a net in full view of all the birds. But those people lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves. Such is the way for all those who seek illicit gain, takes it away from the lives of those who possess it. Remember, the preacher that told the little grandma, if you will, that she needed to send her last $150 that she had to him. She could not pay her rent. Thus, she was evicted for $150. That $150 could have paid her rent. Now, she is out. Did the preacher who said, give me your money so that God will give you back 12-fold of it, well, does that preacher now really care about grandma that's out on the street? No. He says, oh, your faith wasn't good enough, even though you gave me the money. You didn't believe in it hard enough. That's why he didn't give it back to you. That sounds a bit like a highway robbery to me. But instead, he came up to Grandma, making her think that he was her friend. Like he cared for her. If she froze to death on the city streets, he would not care. He would just move on to the next person. So, why do we covet? We covet because we're taught that we need to have everything everyone else does, and more. Why? Why are we taught that? It is to please the merchant. Is it to please the toy maker? Covet is related to vanity because you do not have it. Covet is related to vanity because you do it so that you look better or more important to another person or group. Think of a peacock, his display of beautiful feathers. But his display is to attract a mate. But why do you have to have a big house, a flashy car, or expensive clothing? If you can pay $70 for a good pair of shoes to play a sport, why do you feel you have to have $300 pair? Do they really improve your game? More than likely not. They just say to everyone else that you spent all that extra money on a name brand of shoes. I ask you, how does that really make you better than them? I say, what if someone else on the team does wear those 70 pair of shoes, makes MVP, captain, and is drafted? How did that $230 extra help you? Instead of practicing vanity, the person who became a leader spent the time improving their skills and knowledge. So wouldn't a better use of your time, effort, and resources be to study, meditate, and improve your skills? Even spiritual skills need sharpening. You cannot buy your way into the realm of heaven, only by knowing Elohim and following the teachings of his Son, Yahweh, the man he sent to us to teach us his ways. That is why the path is only through Yahweh. Once you learn to pray, how to pray, and understand his gifts, you won't covet because your heart will be filled. You won't need to be idolized by another person. The only reason to keep up with the Joneses is so that the Robertsons will idolize you, instead of slaving to gain a pitiful wage and being depressed about how long it will take to gain that flashy car while ignoring Elohim because you don't have time for him. Make the time. Do you really need a car that costs $70,000, or would a $20,000 car work? Or even more so, why wouldn't a used car for under $1,000 work? And you have time to counsel with Elohim and meditate on his teachings. Covet is a tool used by those who would distract you from Elohim. I feel this lesson applies right here. Remember, lay up your treasures in heaven. Stop storing up treasures for yourselves on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But keep on storing up treasures for yourself in heaven, where moths and rusts do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Because where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is evil, your whole body will be full of darkness. Therefore, if the light within you has turned into darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters, because either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and riches. Covet feels so good, though, doesn't it? Personally, I find it exhausting myself. Honestly, I would rather just have enough to not want than to have everything. If I had everything, where would I put it? I have a house big enough for everything. Who's going to clean If I have a house big enough for everything, who's going to clean it? If I'm cleaning it, how am I enjoying it? If I'm not enjoying it, then why, oh why, did I slave to get it? To make myself look better to whom or why? It doesn't make sense, does it? I ask you this. If you were to meet one of these idols in life, wearing the same dress, the same makeup, listening to their media, do you think they will look at you as an equal or as an imitation? I doubt it would be as an equal. They will smile, maybe even make you think they are interested in you, but all they will see is you worshiping them by imitation. So, do we need all of these extra things? No, we do not. Do we want them? We're programmed to want them. We're being programmed by everybody else to want them. We're being programmed by the merchant, or I should say more likely, who the merchant is employing to make you want their goods. Why? So that you buy it. That's how they make their money. That's how they feel important. So, have you ever noticed that come February, days before Valentine's Day, they're already putting out merchandise for an Easter celebration and a celebration for the mother called Mother's Day. So they're advertising before you even have another holiday. Now, here's another question. Are any of these holidays actually devoted to Christianity, to Elohim or Yahweh? Well, some people says Christmas is, but we're told that that was when he was born. But if you read about it in the passages, it does talk about lambs being born. Well, that's in spring. So odds are he was probably born in spring, not in the middle of winter or at the beginning of winter. With that being the case, are these holidays really being for Yahweh and Elohim? No. They're being for the merchant and the banker. People that you spend money giving them your money to buy decorations, to buy cards, candy, stuffed toys. Yes, a stuffed toy is nice. Something to cuddle. Yes, it can be a symbol of your feelings for that person. But have you done anything for Elohim in it? I mean, if it's for Christmas, and it's the day that supposedly his son was born, shouldn't you really be spending the day meditating on Elohim and Yahweh? Or Jesus, if that's who you're calling him by? I would think that that would be the best course of that day, not wondering about whether or not you got the biggest present under the tree. Which, question, does it show a Christmas tree anywhere in the Bible? No, it does not. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it here for the night, though. And I will be back in a couple of days with some more. But I do want you to think about the covet and why it is not something you really want to be doing. For it does lead to some of the capital sins, because through covet you start to lust, and then you get greedy, and then, well, it leads to gluttony, where